the Shoshone Titan, who shaped a nation and warned Custer. In the shadow of Crowheart Butte, a legend was forged in blood and valor. Washakie, a young Shoshone warrior, faced the Crow chief Big Robber in single combat atop the windswept peak. With a swift stroke, he felled his foe, carved out the man's heart, and thrust it skyward on his lance, a grim trophy that christened the butte and cemented his name in history. This wasn't mere savagery. It was a declaration of power from a man destined to become one of Native America's most revered leaders. How did this fierce fighter evolve into a diplomat who bridged worlds and cautioned George Armstrong Custer before his fatal plunge at Little Bighorn? Welcome to a tale of courage, tragedy, and foresight. Subscribe to Obscura Historia Tales for more journeys into the untamed heart of the American West. Born between 1804 and 1810, amid the jagged Bitterroot Mountains, Washakie entered a world carved by tribal bonds and relentless conflict. His father, a Salish Flathead man, and his mother, a Lemhi Shoshone, raised him where the northern Rockies peaks pierced the sky. These tribes were kin, their alliance a lifeline through the rugged valleys of modern Idaho and Montana. Blood brothers, the elders called them, united by shared trails and traditions, despite distinct customs. The Salish roamed the Bitterroot, while the Lemhi fished salmon along the Snake River's tributaries, their lives woven into the land's rhythms. Washakie's early years mirrored the unforgiving upbringing of indigenous boys. Until 10, he stayed under his mother's wing, learning the land's secrets where elk grazed, how rivers shifted. Then, his father or uncles took over, forging him into a hunter and warrior. A bow in hand, he tracked game through dense forests, his senses sharpening with every step. Tribal elders later recalled this training. Boys were taught to see the unseen, to endure hunger and cold, to strike when the moment demanded. This discipline would define him. Though few tales of his childhood survive the mists of time, tragedy struck early, searing his path with loss. While traversing Montana, his family crossed paths with a Blackfeet war party. Chaos erupted, arrows flew, shouts turned to silence, and his father fell, shielding them. Washakie, still a boy, hid among the rocks, heart pounding as the enemy retreated. "I saw the Blackfeet come," he'd recount decades later. "My father died so we could live. I waited, alone, until they were gone." Orphaned, he stood at a crossroads, the weight of survival pressing down. Then, a strange encounter lit his destiny. A lone figure approached through the haze, a man cloaked in light, voice steady. "You will be a great leader." Before Washakie could respond, the stranger vanished, leaving an echo of prophecy. A brilliant glow surrounded him, he'd say, hinting at a spiritual mantle he'd carry lifelong. Moments later, hoofbeats broke the silence. Lemhi Shoshone riders crested a hill, their tongue his mother's own. "I understand them," he murmured, stepping forward. One warrior, struck by the boy's resilience, declared, "He's strong. Look at him stand after such loss. I'll take him." Thus, Washakie found refuge among his maternal kin, a new home among a people spanning deserts and mountains from Utah to Canada. With the Lemhi Shoshone, Washakie shed his orphan's cloak and donned a warrior's spirit. They embraced him fully, his mixed blood no barrier to their trust. Childhood ended fast. Here kids were small adults, tasked with real duties. To forge a war leader, elders explained, we trained their minds to conquer pain, their spirits to withstand despair. Washakie thrived, his endurance honed by necessity. In the 1830s, he roamed beyond the Lemhi, joining the Bannock along the Snake River. Known for their ferocity, the Bannock sharpened his edge. They loved to fight, histories note. The Shoshone fought when pressed, but the Bannock sought it out, raiding settlers, encroaching on their lands. Washakie learned the brutal dance of survival, a sovereign act misjudged by outsiders, blind to tribal stakes. His vendetta against the Blackfeet burned deep. In an 1893 interview, he recalled his first clash. "I was young, on foot, with 8 others. We found 5 Blackfeet lodges, stole their horses, killed several." His tone was matter-of-fact, violence a thread in the era's fabric, not glorified, but inevitable. This period birthed his name, Washakie. Its roots twist through lore, some say rawhide rattle, tied to a battle trick, shaking a buffalo hide rattle to spook enemy mounts, mimicking a rattlesnake's hiss. Others link it to a scar or Washakie, meaning migrators. Whatever its truth, the name stuck, a banner for his rising star. By the 1840s, Washakie's prowess rippled through the West. Mountain man Osborne Russell met him under Chief Mowumba, whose 300-lodge village pulsed with strength. Russell wrote, "Washakie, Inkatosh Apop, and Phi Beyuntawat Si were pillars of the nation." Names that made Blackfeet tremble. His ascent wasn't luck. Leadership among the Shoshone demanded merit, not birthright. "It's the people's choice," elders said. "You lead by proving you can finding game, shielding the weak, striking foes." Washakie's raids grew bolder. By his 3rd or 4th, he commanded. 10 followed me first, he told Captain Ray. "I brought them back alive with enemy horses." Next time, 20 came. Success bred loyalty, his band swelling with each triumph. His friendship with Jim Bridger, sparked around 1825, fueled his rise. Bridger's trading post became a hub for migrants, and Washakie gleaned insights into white ambitions, a skill soon vital. By the 1850s, he was a force, clashing with Crows over the Wind River Valley. The Fort Laramie Treaty of 1851 botched tribal claims, gifting the valley to the Crow despite Shoshone roots. Tensions flared, culminating at Crowheart Butte. Legend paints a duel, Washakie versus Big Robber, heart raised in victory. Others cite a skirmish, horses reclaimed, scalps halved as a warning. Fact or myth? He wed a Crow woman after, blending war with alliance, a hallmark of his nuanced rule. The mid-19th century squeezed the Shoshone mercilessly. Game vanished: buffalo, elk, deer gutted by settlers' rifles and cattle. Not enough left for a year, an official warned, pushing reservations. The 1851 treaty talks, urged by Bridger, saw Washakie's warriors arrive in splendor, war horses, gleaming, yet the deal soured. Wind River lost to the Crow. He pressed on, roaming Utah to Green River, contesting the valley's edge. Then, in 1861, a dawn raid at Burnt Ranch shattered his world. Sioux, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, 100 to 200 strong, stormed his camp, stealing horses. His son, now Nang Gai, charged alone after a rebuke from Washakie and fell. The chief's grief was a silent storm, retreating to Green River Lakes to mourn a loss he blamed on himself. The Bear River Massacre of 1863 darkened the horizon further. Colonel Patrick Connor's troops slaughtered over 200 Shoshone Bannock, mostly women and children. Survivors fled to Washakie, cementing his shift from war to talks. A small tribe can't win against the U.S., he saw. The 1863 Fort Bridger Treaty offered a vast reservation strategic for telegraph lines, and gold trails followed by the 1868 Pact, securing Wind River. "I chose it for its beauty, game, water," he said, negotiating hunting rights and provisions. His diplomacy wasn't surrender, it was survival, preserving a homeland amid chaos. Washakie's tribal wars shaped his legend. Against the Blackfeet, he was relentless, avenging his father with raids that left foes reeling. With the Crow, he balanced combat and kinship. The Sioux alliance tested him hardest at Trout Creek. He hid women and children, dug rifle pits, and repelled a larger force. As U.S. might grew, he allied with the Army, his scouts aiding campaigns against Sioux and Cheyenne. Shoshone lore claims he warned Custer before Little Bighorn. "The Sioux are too many, too strong." Ignored, Custer fell a tragedy Washakie foresaw. Utes to the west clashed over scraps, but his focus turned inward, guarding what remained. Post-1868, Wind River's promise frayed. The Shoshone lingered near Fort Bridger, wary of enemy raids. Treaty pledges, schools, tools, food faltered in Wyoming's harsh soil. Disease ravaged them. 1 in 3 died of smallpox or tuberculosis. Gold at South Pass lured miners. Washakie ceded 700,000 acres in 1872, trading for cattle. Knowing refusal meant theft. In 1896, the Bighorn hot springs drew speculators. At 90, he mourned their loss. Healing waters, winter refuge money fades, land doesn't return. In 1878, 600 Arapaho arrived. Foes turned refugees. Let them stay, he said, unaware they'd never leave, splitting the reservation's soul. To his last breath in 1900, Washakie rode, smoked his pipe, prayed at the medicine wheel. At 96 bedridden, he gathered kin. I brought you here a good life. Keep peace. Follow my steps. Buried with military honors, the only chief so recognized he left Wind River as his legacy. Good seeds live long, an elder said. His blend of valor, foresight, and compromise towers still a titan who warned Custer, defied odds, and carved a nation's refuge from a vanishing world. Discover more remarkable Native American leaders by subscribing to Obscura Historia on YouTube.